Monday, October 24th, 2022. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Sterling?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Mrs. Brogan?
Here.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Bill Brogan?
Here.
Mrs. Meeks here.
Chris Arguino, recording secretary.
Troy Yarbrough, superintendent.
Shelley Whitener, Human Resources.
Michelle, curriculum and instruction.
Josh Vernon, business and operations.
All right. I'll turn it over to Rock Cut and Ryan Renicky.
Hi. Thank you for having us. Rock Cut students, if you want to come on up. Very proud to have a representative from each of our 4th through 6th grade classes join us tonight. So at Rock Cut every morning, we say the pledge in Spanish because we have the wonderful OLA program. And then we say the pledge in English, and then we say our daily creed. So I thought we would just do the same thing. So, everyone, please stand and join us. Start with the pledge in Spanish, okay?
Prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos.
Now the English version.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now for the creed.
I'm a proud student at Rock Cut School. I am safe, I am respectful, I am responsible. Rock Cut is a better place because I am here today. I am a ranger.
And Rock Cut is And we're going to have you go this way, and the board will stand behind you, and we'll get a big group picture, okay?
Turn around, face me, and all the families get photos too. You would all come around in the hustle force as well. You gotta come this way.
I'll have you slide over so we
I'll get a photo quick and then you parents.
I know.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
No, we're good. Yeah, I know. Look at that. Good?
All right. Official uniform.
Great job. Sorry. I need to run you over.
Oh, I forgot. I helped you over, so I ran out and left you on the day. Thank you.
Well, we found out together.
So Ryan has one other thing real quick for you.
Yep, we're very proud to be celebrating Red Ribbon Week this week. I was contacted by our local representative, Mr. Paul Peroni, who, it's funny, each year he comes to represent us. I remember back, I had him as a freshman health teacher at Harlem Middle School, was Harlem Junior High when the 9th grade were there, so a long time ago. But this Friday, we're very proud to be hosting Miss Illinois and Miss Wisconsin. We'll be having a fun fair from noon to 2. And if anybody would like to come out, please feel free to join us.
Thank you.
I don't know if I have enough card or what.
If you don't, I'll
I don't know what
give you one. It's the mailing. I'll take this one.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Okay, that's what I didn't want to do.
Thank you. Joe? I hope you gave somebody this card.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Can I grab one?
I got an extra.
If you don't have enough, I've got one.
Thank you.
We can make copies.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Turn it over to, all right, I need a motion and a second for approval of the agenda with changes. It'll be, it's gonna be no 11A, 1,
Let's see, we say 11A.
11A1, okay.
and 12B, student travel.
Sure.
11A1, and what was the other one?
12B. Can I get a motion with those changes?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Jill Rogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye. All right, turn it over to you, Dr.
All
Troy.
right, thank you. One day I need to learn how to do this in Spanish, because that was really
Awesome. Yeah.
The mission of the Harlem Consolidated School District as a vital part of the community is to help diverse learners realize their limited potential by providing an educational program dedicated to academic excellence and the development of strong character in a safe and respectful learning environment.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion for approval of the regular and closed board meeting minutes, October 11th, 2022?
Yes. Motion. Second. Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
All right, turn it over to Jason Bloom.
Bless
Bless
you.
you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I'm excited tonight to introduce a student of ours, Miss Luna De La Rosa, who is a 7th grader at Harlem Middle School. If you want to come stand up here. So, Miss Luna, she was selected at the end of last school year as a 6th grader at Windsor Elementary to display her artwork in our Administration Center art gallery. So if you've noticed as you walk through the hallway out there, we have artwork from probably the last at least 30 years, where each year the elementary art teachers select a piece of artwork to go on display. We frame it, we get it all matted, and then at the end of their time here in Harlem, they're welcome to take this home with them as a gift. And so, as you can see out there, many of them just leave them here for us to look at, but we've got some great pieces of art. Unfortunately, Mrs. Peterson, who was the art teacher that selected this, was not able to attend last minute tonight, but she obviously thought very highly of this piece of art. And so we're super excited to add this to our art gallery. We've already got a photo with Luna, and so we welcome this piece of art, and I hope you all get a chance to take a look at this one, as well as all the other ones, bless you, that are out on display. And so what I would like to do, though, real quick with maybe Luna and her mom, is to get a photo with our board. And so the board members would come around. We'll stand in the middle here.
I have to put it back on.
Great job, Luna. Hold on, Luna. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, awesome. That's awesome. Excited to have this, and so that's awesome.
That's beautiful.
My tail got caught.
Because I thought it was bad, because the last night over here, you guys going longer.
Thank you so much.
Just for the board meeting. For the board meeting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so we're obviously excited to recognize her. We do actually have one other student, so during the pandemic, they did not do the selection process as an elementary art group, so they did 2 this year. So next board meeting, we'll have the other student that was selected alongside Luna for that artwork. So congrats to her. Luna was part of the STP program in Windsor. Our other student who was selected is from Wilson Park Elementary. So both 7th graders now at Harlem Middle School. The other recognition that we'd like to do this evening is to recognize 2 of our board members who received the Illinois Association of School Board Leader Recognition status. And this is due to their participation in professional development. For some of you that have been around for a while, this is actually kind of a new title. They used to be Master Board Member and Leadership status. And so tonight I'd like to recognize Evelyn and Sue for earning the Distinguished Board Leader Award. And so they received this award because it required, excuse me, let me start that over. In order to receive this award, it requires 400 points through the different activities that you can earn through the IASB. The next status beyond that is Distinguished Plus, 25 or more years of service on the board. And so really they've hit the top kind of level of status, and so we're obviously very grateful for their commitment to the district, to our students, our families, and their commitment to continuing to be a part of the activities and professional development that the IASB offers. And so I don't really think through if you want to take a photo with your fellow board members or not, but
You sure you're good? With the husky?
we can
We can put the
maybe do
husky in
that
front,
after.
and put our
So-
things like this and soon I can.
Yeah. So again, on behalf of all of us, our community, our families, our students, and our staff, we want to thank you for your commitment to the responsibilities of the board and participating in all these activities. And so congratulations to the two of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. There are no, at this time, no comments from the communities. Turn it over to Josh for approval of the bill.
All right, thank you. I handed out for the meeting 2 payroll vouchers that I'm gonna include in those, bill as I review this. So if there's any questions, feel free to just ask. Total payables for this period were $1,044,698.80. There were 2 payrolls with a total amount of $6,359,924.88. For total expenditures of $7,404,623.68. Split out by fund, the education fund paid $6,225,365.83. The tort fund paid $6,792.60. The operations and maintenance fund paid $322,805.82. The transportation fund paid $341,499.68. The IMRF fund paid $232,275.20. And the capital project fund paid $275,884.55. Again, for total expenditures of $7,404,623.68. Are there any unanswered questions? And that's it for those. Thank you.
Can I have a motion to approve the bills?
Motion. Second.
Mrs. Manieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
All right, I'm gonna get over to myself. Next regular board meeting will be November 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. I'd love Rock Cut, seeing the kids in. Thank you, Brian. Just for them to start that program and do all they do with Spanish and then, transition out back into English. You guys do an amazing job there. Really shows too. Gotta give it up to Luna for her amazing artwork. I mean, that's gonna be on the wall for a while. Love going back there and being able to see all the different ones. The witch always is one that stands out to me back there, especially this time of year. I'm going to try to make it to the education committee meeting tomorrow, Larry, so I'm gonna try to come dressed for you.
You wanna borrow the?
We do have some good news. The football team's gonna be going to the playoffs this Saturday. They gotta do the trip into Chicago. I don't know. We got the email today that some of the tickets are gonna be available. If you guys can let Rebecca know, that'd be great. What else? We had our IASB meeting here, and I think the board governance thing went pretty well, so I think that doing those workshops help. And that ends my report. Oh yeah, the Kishwaukee dinner that we're going to have is going to be the 27th? 27th. And Tom's actually gonna be recognized there, so the school board will be getting something there for our recognition, so thank you guys, all of you. And that ends my report. Turn it over to the Husky.
Good evening, everybody. The next policy committee meeting will be December 19th, 2022 at 6 p.m. I want to thank Mr. Renicky and the students. They did a wonderful job. They always do a wonderful job. I love when the students are able to be in here and then also hearing it, you know, Spanish and English. And then the creed is just, it's wonderful. Congratulations to Ms. De La Rosa. Beautiful artwork. Can't wait to see it hanging up on the wall. And congratulations to all of our artists. We have wonderful artists in this district and love seeing all the artwork that they provide us. And hopefully Kurt will get his wall.
Someday.
I want to say what a great season the middle school football team had. Unfortunately, they lost in the playoffs this past weekend, but they had an undefeated season, and it was great to see, you know, the kids playing, and you know, thank you to all of our coaches who put in the time and the effort and the volunteers to help with that program. And good luck to our Huskies this weekend as they take on Chicago. I think it starts with an A. It's on the tip of my tongue. Amundsen or something. I'm probably butchering their name, but we're gonna win. We're gonna win.
Hopefully they get butchered, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. And good luck and safe travels to their trip to Chicago. I hope everybody has a fun and safe Halloween if you celebrate it. Watch out, you know, be safe, have fun, and that is all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Emily Weeks.
Good evening, everyone. First, the artwork, it's nice. I missed the 60s, 70s that was up there, but this is still just as nice with all the different colors. It makes me think of, like, what do you call those things the Indians had, Native Americans? Totem poles. It kind of made me think of totem poles, but they really did a nice job, especially with all the different variety of colors. Made me think of fall too, but really nice. Thank you, Mr. Reineke, for the students. It was nice to see 4th through 6th graders. They did an amazing job, especially when they done it in Spanish. I was still trying to think and remember, see if I could say some of the words when we gotta do it in English. I was gonna try to mumble it in Spanish, but I still got a lot of work to do. But thank you, we appreciate every time the students come, and it was really nice to be able to get back with them to take pictures with them, so thank you for that. Thank you, Luna, for your beautiful artwork. The detail and everything was just right, really precise, really beautiful. So I wish her good luck in the future if she continues to go in that direction of maybe being an architect or whatever. Really beautiful, and she gets that picture back when she graduates, right? Okay, so it's nice to have that hanging up in our building. Also, I want to wish the football team good luck this weekend. Make sure I come bundle up, but you got it. We all are wishing you good luck and can't wait until Saturday. Let me see. I attended the ramp luncheon and it was really nice. The speaker did an amazing job. She's partially deaf, I think, and she does have, I can't think of the name of the word that she was saying, the type of illness that she has, but she will in X amount of years be completely deaf, unable to speak, and blind, yes. But she was, I mean, one of the best. She kept you looking at her and listening. She did an amazing job, and the food was delicious. The best luncheon I've had in years. And I have food allergies, and that was good, and I could eat everything, so I was glad about that. Let me see what else I'm missing something, but I can't think of it. Oh, yes. The next Equity and Social Justice meeting will be Thursday, November 3rd at 4:30 p.m. at the Harlem High School in room 145. But as Jill stated, with this being the last, you know, coming up into Halloween, want everybody to be safe and have an enjoyable Halloween. And thank you again. That's all I had to report.
Thank you. Kurt Thompson.
Sure. Always hard following Evelyn like that. Congratulations as well on your achievement. Same with you, Sue. That's great. I'm going to do a little bit of echoing here. Thanks to Mr. Reineke and all the students coming in, doing the pledge. Kind of gives us something to strive for, to be able to do it in Spanish. Nothing like students showing up, you know, some stuff that we don't even know sometimes. So that's great. Luna for her contribution. I can't wait to see it hanging up. It's great to see all the artwork that can come through and we can see it. And we have so much room for artwork in this building that we hopefully continue to do so and share all of our great artists in this building and throughout the schools. Good luck to Harlem this Saturday, for they will not need it, and continue onward that way, but good luck there. And yeah, A lot of good points there. Evelyn's got all that covered for sure, but what she does not have covered, and is gonna be very exciting, is going to be the next business services meeting, which is gonna be right back here, November 9th. So bring in your discounted Halloween candy for that one. We'll be meeting here at 6 o'clock p.m.
Business services and discounting food. All right.
You know, I bet Josh has got some way to save some money on candy, and he's gonna share all of those opportunities at that meeting. Do not miss
Buy
it.
in bulk.
Yes,
Turn that over to, thank you, sir. Turn it
yes,
over
that
to
concludes mine. Thank you.
Larry Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I would like to thank everybody for wearing pink to show support for the breast cancer awareness. I truly appreciate it. I'm sorry I didn't have pink. I think I used to have a pink shirt, but I retired. Thank you very much, like Jill said, about the art in this district. It's wonderful. I love to see how much this district supports the arts, and I love the painting that Una did. That was very well done. And this display that we have up this month is very nice. Who did this one? Do you know, Ms. Rucker?
I am not positive who put this one up.
Just really nice. I love patterns. I think looking for patterns and identifying patterns is so important. It's a wonderful piece. The way that it was displayed, just very well done. So thank you very much. Congratulations, Ms. Brogan, Ms. Meeks, on your award from the IASB. I think that's terrific. It shows your commitment to the district and how important that you feel that this work is, and it really shows in your conduct as board members. So thank you very much for everything that you've done. And the next education committee will be right here tomorrow, so you really don't even have to leave. You can just stay here. And then it'll be tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I've already looked at the presentation that the education committee has put together. Very good stuff in there. Very, very good stuff. And so if you're here at the meeting, you will be the first ones to know. So, thank you very much, Mr. Sterling.
And Mr. Smith, it was Mrs. Winters who put this up.
Oh, okay, thank you. Mrs. Winters did a very nice job.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I'll turn this over to Sue Brogan.
Good evening, everyone. I would just like to echo and ditto what everybody else said about everything. Thank you to the Rock Cut students. Congratulations to the football teams. Good luck to the competition cheers. They're forming their teams now for future cheers. All the other sports in the district, our kids do such an amazing job. You read the resolutions for the IASB conference coming up in November. Has everybody had a chance to kind of look over and read over these resolutions? So we'll just go one by one and vote on whether we agree or disagree. So whether we will recommend or not recommend to adopt. If we start off with number one, the financing public education fund balance Miller ratio adjustment. The IASB recommends to do adopt it. I want to say years ago, not that many years ago, Josh, didn't we used to have to only have so much in each fund and stuff?
So all we really had is like a minimum cash or fund balance policy, so we haven't had to worry about the maximum piece of being multiple, multipliers over our annual expenditure. So this, I don't think this will really super impact us, but.
So I believe the district that's asking for it is Homer Community Consolidated School District 33. And IASB recommends to adopt this. Any questions or concerns with this?
Well, I oppose it. The recommendation, I believe, was to increase, and I'm not sure that the way that I read it, it sounds like it wasn't really even intended for school districts, but was for units of government, specifically townships. And, I don't know, I oppose it, but
So you would recommend not to adopt it,
Correct.
right? Anybody else? Questions or comments?
Are you familiar with this at all, Josh, by chance?
Larry sent me some of the wording. I mean, we're just nowhere near being impacted by this, so.
If we were, do you have any feedback financially where this would do?
Yeah, so if it's at 2 right now, we would have to have 200, give or take 200 million fund balances, push it to 300 million, so. I mean, these are districts that are, if I'm right, with the 2 times, or 3 times fund balance, so this can affect more than a handful of districts, but it just.
Yeah.
Would we need $300 million in KID? Probably not. It seems excessive to me, but.
And when I talked to Josh about it, the only thing, I guess, and I really went through it in my head and said, who would want? Because I think that is excessive for a unit. But then I started thinking about, it was townships that it was meant for, and townships have much smaller budgets than school districts do. So I could see why a township would want to have that flexibility to have at least 2.5. And maybe if it were a real small, like a 1 elementary building school district, then that would be appropriate. Otherwise, I just think that's excessive. And if I were a taxpayer, I'd say, why are you taxing me so much if you got 2.5 times your annual, what you're spending?
It's already 2.
It does say in it, almost all Illinois law involving the Miller ratio pertains to township governments.
Yeah.
So any change in the standard for townships should be equally applicable to school districts.
That's why I oppose it.
So the consensus should probably be, do you object to adoption or not? Because we have to say yes or no, and make sure that we say yes
She
or no.
oppose or support.
Or support.
Any other questions or comments?
No, I'm with Larry on some of it because of seeing the way that it goes, so in my view, I would say, if you wanna just go to, are we gonna do a quick vote through this one, or are we gonna go,
Yeah, we have to do
no,
Do I do 1 by 1 or all at the end?
one by one.
Okay.
okay. I'm for do not adopt.
Do not adopt.
Evelyn?
Do not.
Do not? Kurt?
Yeah, the financial penalties, these are a little concerning, but still, I do not adopt.
Do not adopt.
Okay. 7-0, do not adopt. Number 2 is the alternative fuel school bus funding. Any questions or concerns on that? IASB recommends do not adopt this one.
I agree with IASB's do not adopt.
I support it.
Oh, we're good.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't understand where they're coming from. Like, their major concern is how to handle the money that's coming in, but there's gonna be so much federal money coming into programs for alternative fuel vehicles. I don't know how you don't try to start somewhere.
Well, and I think it's that we urge that the money does come in, isn't that what?
Yeah,
the
that's kinda
recommendation
where I'm
was?
at. But they're, where was it?
Yeah, it urges that there is funding
Yeah,
to the districts for the
the
transition.
current transportation reimbursement formula does not fully support the reimbursement costs and how they would be diverted to a new program. Like, we can't figure that out. Saying no because you can't change the policy seems weird to me, and just passing up on funds that are gonna be coming one way or the other.
Well, when I read it, was they were going to be pushing districts that they had to adopt. That's where I got.
And I appreciate that. The way I read it was, they were just suggesting that we urge that we get the funding
Yeah.
to transition.
Right, because part of the rationale was, while zero-emission buses, especially electronic buses, should be the focus, we recognize that these buses may not yet be practical for some districts, especially rural districts covering large areas.
That's where I was coming
So the
from.
resolution for funding only electric buses.
Right, yeah, it's not really about saying you have to have electric buses, but I think they appreciate that electric buses aren't gonna be right for everybody.
But it looks like here, the district has to make their case for zero-emission buses are not feasible to apply for funding for low-emission buses instead. So they wouldn't give funding for the low-emission buses. If this were to pass.
Correct.
I read it as they don't have money to reimburse for electric buses, cause it's 60-70% and they're $400,000 a bus.
So the buses do in fact exist? Where does that sound?
So, yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I
they're-
don't recall that part of it, but
They're
I'm like,
they're 300,000 to 400,000, they go like 100 miles, they're really heavy, and there's no charging infrastructure, so we've been talking about, they're a ways off before
Yeah.
they're a real viable option.
Who's making them right now?
Bluebird's
Tesla.
making. Yeah, Tesla. I think International has a version too, and there's maybe one other vendor out there, but California's mandating them, so there's probably gonna be a lot going that way, but it's still pretty early on the curve on that kind of thing.
this is the push, basically, right? Like, this is not, that's to say, this is not saying,
But if we replace our $130,000 buses with $400,000 buses, and the state's gonna pay 70%, I think that's what they're saying, is they don't have a funding mechanism for that. At least that's how I remember it.
Yes. But if we don't start urging for that legislation to make that funding available,
yeah, we buy hybrid buses for X amount to get it discounted back to kind of help us financially, and by the time we get those, then electric buses are then financially opportunistic, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's a big debate one way or the other, is how big of a footstep do you do? But knowing how slow things move, it seems to, that would be the push towards. Because there was something similar to this one last year too.
Yep.
So we have Mike, do not adopt, Larry adopting, and Kurt do not adopt.
No,
He's adopt.
I'm adopt, sorry.
Oh.
I didn't say it, but that's what I was leading up to.
I read between the lines.
Okay. so
I'm
Larry-
adopt.
Adopt.
Evelyn?
Excuse me.
We'll adopt.
Number 3, the firearm dealer location. So, in a nutshell, they're wanting to change the distance from, what was it, 500 feet
To 1,500
to
feet.
1,500 feet. And the IASB is not recommending to adopt it, and it's for firearms dealers within 500 feet of the school, daycare, or what was the other one?
Yeah, this one threw me off too, like for the rationale where they said.
The trauma.
The trauma that might be caused by seeing gun advertisements from the classroom, but then also that those same advertisements might be more impactful to.
Well, you can think of it this way, we have one right in our backyard, right? Like, what is the distance right now between, I think the name has changed, between Gun Stop and Rock Cut there, and
I think it's within that.
I think it's been there since I was a kid, and again, I can only speak for myself, but there was no, I don't know. I don't have any, they don't have any sources where they've proven anything, right? Like,
Correct.
Right.
So,
I'm in agreement with this to not adopt myself.
I'm fine with not adopt, I could go either, I think it's a local,
500 to
I think
1,500
it's a
feet.
local issue.
Yeah, it is.
If you've
Yeah.
ever read did you read the legislation on it, what it actually says? It's from the nearest corners of the two buildings, or if the building's round, isn't that what you thought?
That's what all of them are for measurements.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for some locations, the difference between 500 and 1,500 really wouldn't make any difference. Look at the high school, if you went 500 feet from the high school, in some places it would be appropriate, in other places, if you put a firearm dealership 500 feet from the high school, it would be in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So it depends, like if you look at Hononegah, if you were at 500 feet, it would just be out there on Route 2, whereas if it was 1,500 feet, you wouldn't be able to be in the city limit, well, no, not, that's exaggerated, but it would be significant. I think it's a local issue, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other issue is what if a building close by comes empty and a daycare center opens up there? And now it's
Yeah.
500 feet. So when they go to renew,
Right.
they gotta find a new location.
Right.
Usually now, because it's grandfathered in because of that, you can't.
Yeah.
But that's not for us to
Trust it
decide.
anymore.
That's again
So
for local staff.
I recommend not to adopt it.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, not to adopt.
Not to adopt.
Not
Bill?
yet.
Not to adopt.
Kurt, you said do not adopt. right?
Correct.
Okay.
Evelyn?
Do not.
Number 4, the capital grant fund for school buildings. This was submitted by Glen Ellen School District and Mercer County 404. IASB recommends to adopt it.
I agree. Just open up some more revenue sources without having to tax the homeowner. You can go
And
to,
it's regarding the school construction grants.
correct, so that just gives them opportunities to use sales tax and other forms of already existing in that thing, kinda like a TIF district. So that way you don't have to levy it against homeowners.
I agree.
I recommend to adopt.
I don't.
Yeah, no challenges here.
Evelyn? Joe?
Yep, adopt.
All right.
School safety fund, number 5. This was brought forward by Grays Lake Community High School, 127 Lake Forest Community High School, and Lake Forest School District, 67. For a school safety grant at federal and state level that would assist schools to support all cost of a comprehensive school security enhancements, including but not limited to your
I recommend adopt.
cameras, technology. IASB recommends to adopt.
I agree. We just had
Yeah.
another shooting today in
Yep.
St. Louis.
Larry?
Yes, adopt.
Adopt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 6, involvement with candidates for public office. Indian Prairie School District submitted this one. This is the Illinois Association of School Boards shall actively encourage and assist school board members to effectively evaluate legislative positions relative to public education. And see, now they've got that crossed out. So they're recommending not to adopt it. An elected trustee of local public education school boards and their individual members should be actively participating in the legislative process as it relates to school board operations and public education. IASB should encourage this involvement and assist in evaluating legislative positions.
it says the committee analysis was that they discussed the intent of the current position statement. I would have loved to heard that discussion.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I support the position. I am not in agreement with IASB. I don't think that nonpartisan bodies such as school boards should be looking to support political candidates at all. And
So this.
that's what it's about.
You're going for the do not adopt, correct?
Right.
No, I am saying adopt the change. We should not be supporting candidates, I feel. That's me.
We currently have it in policy that we cannot support candidates.
Yes,
or
it's
campaign.
unethical. It's in
Right.
violation of the Ethics Act. We should, and so IASB should change this, period.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, is that correct, or, because I mean, I'm with you on that, I just wanna make sure that that's what this is saying, by saying, do not adopt or adopt.
They're saying leave it the same.
No, IASB should not be involved in evaluating individual candidates.
Right.
This amendment is based on the principle of nonpartisanship by supporting an analysis
Sure.
of
Well, this-
legislative
We would not
positions
adopt.
rather than individual candidates.
No, if you look at.
We're
the-
adopting removing the crossed out lines, correct?
Correct,
Right.
Like,
yeah.
just making
yeah.
sure we're set, so
If you-
basically, I think reading that line should be important, because that's what they're saying. We should not, they're saying we should not remove that, you're saying we should remove that?
I'm saying absolutely we should remove that. It should say legislative position support, not candidate support. Right now, this position of IASB is to say candidate support. And it specifically says in 302 that, right now it says that the effect of legislative candidates relative to public education. So the recommendation is to change that and not have it support candidates, but only to encourage the supporting of legislation, which is pertinent to schools and school district function. So, absolutely, I think we should recommend it, and again, I would have loved to have been at that
Recommend
discussion,
something else on.
because how did that discussion go? That's IASB sitting around saying, you know what, we really wanna lobby to get so-and-so elected, or we want to make sure that we tell people to have so-and-so elected. No, that's not what IASB should be doing, in my
Slippery slope
opinion.
is the word you're looking for.
But I don't think that's the way that this is stated.
I think it is, I think I
Yeah.
agree with Larry if you read it.
The
It is
committees
what it
discussed
is.
the intent of the, because I read it different.
So they're recommending to not adopt, the thing that they're saying they're saying do not adopt, removing that line, and that
Correct.
line is just the candidate.
Correct.
So just read it,
Well, and
read
those
it
other
with or without
lines,
that.
yeah, the lines down here that are lined out, the recommendation is to pull out that verbiage, change the name of the,
But the recommendation is to not do this. Because over here, if you look on the right-hand side, it says, IASB should not be involved in evaluating individual candidates.
right, that's what the school district is saying. But the
Yeah.
resolutions of the committee now, what the recommendation is to cross out candidate. The recommendation that's being made by
By
Indian Prairie School
is
is
to strike this,
to
strike that.
strike candidate and not have candidate and not support candidates, to only support legislation.
I get it.
And
So
that's
you're-
what the verbiage says. The district rationale is saying we should not be in the business of supporting political candidates. That's what the district is saying. IASB is saying, no, keep it the same way. And same way is having that word candidate there and supporting candidates. That's the way
Correct.
you read it.
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I agree.
So you are going to adopt,
Adopt.
I vote to adopt.
Adopt.
Support, yes.
to support. Is it consensus for everybody to support?
Adopt. Number 7, mandates review committee. questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. I always have a comment. I think what is interesting to me is that we have to have such a committee. I support this. Yeah, we should have a committee. And it's it's like policy review almost, in that you're regularly looking over these mandates, but that we have to have a committee that regularly does that kind of says something about mandates in general. I was reading something else in connection to this, and just the number of mandates that are out there is just mind-blowing. Yeah, poor
We
Dr.
find out
Herb's
at all
like,
times
yes,
how
I
many
know,
mandates
because
there
he
are.
has to deal with them regularly. So, yeah, I support it. It's just a shame that we have to have it.
Correct, I agree.
Now that we haven't had it to this point.
Jill,
Do.
Evelyn, Kurt,
Yeah, I can go with, recommendation.
okay. Moving to,
Number 8, financial contribution for school board elections, position statement 7.07, election schedules. Submitting district is Indian Prairie. School board election nonpartisanship. The Illinois Association of School Boards shall continue to support the nonpartisan election of school board members at a nonpartisan election. IASB strongly believes that school board candidates should not solicit, accept, or receive either a donation or financial contribution from special interest groups, politicians, action committee, or political parties. And the IASB recommends do adopt.
Yeah.
I agree with
I
them.
don't think I could
Yes.
agree more.
Yeah, it's kind of opposite of what they said about.
That
the
was
other
just
one.
thinking the same thing.
It is,
Correct,
it's
that's
the
why it
opposite
doesn't
of what
make
they
sense.
said on the other one.
that's why I was confused on the writing.
Yeah, I don't blame you, because it's not
So-
consistent.
Because this impacts
Yes.
us and not them. Yes, absolutely.
Unanimous to adopt?
Yes,
Well, but these ones,
these ones are ones
I
that,
guess you'll just call out if there's any that you think that you should present, right? That, like, this is not us not presenting them, this is just saying that they're not gonna bring them up for discussion.
right,
I don't get the whole discussion thing at the delegation anyway.
that's-
Boards
you were
have
part of
already
it last
voted,
year,
yeah.
right?
Boards have already voted on it.
Yeah.
Why have the discussion? Because as a representative, you shouldn't be able to change the vote that your board voted on, and it irked me. It really bothered me the way that was set up.
I know.
Yeah, you were there a long time. That was the
Yeah.
first time it's been that long.
So we're good.
There's none that you wanna, fight
yeah,
for.
there's nothing on the next groups that anybody wants to fight for, right?
No,
Very active school districts in here, though.
Sue, I'll type up that consensus for you to take with you.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. All right, that ends my report.
thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
Chairman Lee.
Just ditto to what everybody said. Thanks, Ryan. Great job. The Spanish, very good. Love it that our school has that. I want to say I did attend the ramp. It was very inspirational that she is so successful and she was very driven on what she wanted as a young child and went all the way up. She has a lot of challenges with, losing her hearing, let alone now gonna lose her eyesight. But she doesn't care because she's gonna keep plugging through. What else was I gonna say? Luna did a great job in her artwork. And I wanted to say to everybody, thank you for supporting Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's it.
I gotta get something pink.
Do you wanna borrow the bow? It's Lena's.
I will rock and roll. All right, turning it over to administrative reports. Dr. Earl.
I have nothing this evening, however, as Mr. Smith had shared earlier, tomorrow night at the Education Committee meeting, there are several different areas with the curriculum and instruction that we'll be discussing.
All right. See you then. Turn it over to Joshua Rand.
All right, I have 2 items tonight. The first item is a recommendation to approve a resolution declaring surplus property at Parker Center, Windsor, Marquette Elementary, Property Services, Ralston, and Olds Park Elementary. Questions on the surplus? Next item is a recommendation to approve a facility request with J&J Tumbling for a dance recital.
Awesome.
If there's no questions, those are my items tonight.
Thank you, sir. Turn it over to Dr. Wagner.
Good evening. I have the recommendation to approve the personnel agenda and addendum this evening. We have 14 employments, 1 transfer, and 8 resignations. That's it for me.
Thank you. All right, back to Yarborough.
All right, I have a couple things under my report, before we get to the long-range plan update. One FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request received on 10/6/22 from Rebecca Caraway of the Daily Dot, requesting documents relating to book banning from July 2021 to October 4th, 22. The district's request for a 5-day extension and the district's response dated 10/21/22. And now I would like to call Mr. Bloom up to give us an update on the long-range plan. That was a discussion that we had a little while ago about where we are with the vision of this.
So, at your space, you should have 2 documents. One was our previous update that was dated December 10th, 2021, and then a current update for this evening. At our next board meeting on November 14th, I will be bringing forward the recommendation for approval of our 6 goal statements, along with the strategy statements that we will have for the 22-23 school year. And so the update in front of you, dated October 24th, 2022, has a brief overview of the process that occurred. I'll go into a little more detail when I actually present this information to all of you. But essentially, we followed a similar process we did back in 2015-16 during this last school year, where we have business sessions with our staff, survey opportunities, and then a task force. The task force was made up of representatives from various stakeholder groups. We had 22 members of the task force that ultimately recommended the goal statements that are there in front of you. And so as you get a chance between now and our next meeting, you will be able to look at the 6 goal statements. You'll also see that we have in italics a priority statement related to the goals. So it's just reaffirming our beliefs and what we are for as a district. And you will also know that there are categories into 3 main categories, and this was just a way for us to align our goal statements with the Illinois State Board of Education strategic plan priorities, which is about student learning, learning conditions, and elevating educators. And so you'll see that they're grouped that way. To what ISB has as part of their strategic plan initiatives. As I mentioned, I will be bringing forward our strategies for the 22-23 school year. So one of the things that we're doing a little bit differently this year is we are going to write yearly strategy statements. And so we're going to focus on things that will be measured yearly. If you remember back to 2016 when we approved that 5-year strategic plan, what we did is we set forth 23 strategy statements over the 5-year period. One of the things that I learned over that process was that it allowed us to think big and to think out a ways, but it also really didn't allow us to be very responsive, but also reevaluate on a regular basis. Just as we know we're coming off the pandemic and we're really reevaluating and learning this year, and we'll continue to learn where we need to focus, we felt like it was important for us to kind of narrow that and say, okay, here's our 6 big goals, and here's our strategies that we're going to focus on this year. And then we're going to come back to the board and report out on those at the end of the year, so in the summer, and then we'll propose new strategies for next school year that will either be an extension, a pivot, or something else that has to occur in order to achieve these goals over the 5-year period. And so my hope is that that will allow for more communication about where we're at with things. It'll also give the board an opportunity to provide a little bit more input as we look at these every single year, because we like to think like this is where we're going to be in 5 years, or where we want to be in 5 years, but we know a lot can happen during that time, so we want to be responsive to that. So I'll talk further and take questions obviously tonight or at the next board meeting when I actually present this for approval from all of you. But I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of what this process looks like, because it does look a little bit different than how we presented the goals and the strategies at the last go around in 2016. So do you have any initial questions? Otherwise, Like I said, you can review this, and I'll take questions at our next meeting when I present the information to all of you for approval.
I like the idea of having that ongoing strategies, the yearly strategies with evaluation of those strategies and making sure that we're looking at those goals every year, because I remember in 2016 how they were it was a 5-year plan, but it seemed like get it done, and then it was like shelved, and yeah, we got good stuff done, but then things that did take longer, maybe we lost focus on them a little bit and got sidelined, and so I really, really, really like that part of it, that regular evaluation.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, that's just terrific. Are we gonna change the mission statement?
No.
I think that's wonderful.
There's no recommendation from the task force to do anything in that, so.
And then also, Mr. Bloom, too, what's gonna be part of the presentation next time is like a visual representation of the website as well.
Right, so this, obviously, once the board approves it, and it's official, then we'll post this on the website, we'll share the information out. We're working, and Michael and myself, on a way to also track progress throughout the year, so that people that are curious can say, okay, how's it going, how are the conversations, what milestones and things have been achieved, but ultimately, every strategy is set up to say, what do we think, or what can we try to achieve during the course of this year? So each of the strategy statements that come out are intended to be completed by this next summer. And so we will have that information ready for all of you to look at, so.
Great job, thank you.
Sounds good. All right, thank you.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I say something that's not pertaining to what he just said?
Yeah.
This is going back to in the beginning when we first started. I forgot what I wanted to mention, but I wanted to say my condolences to the Sorrentino family on the loss of their mother, Diana, to let them know that we are praying for them. And sorry I wasn't able to attend the visitation tonight, but my prayers and stuff are to you, Julie, and your brother, and your sister, and your dad, Mark, and your whole family. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the personal agenda and the addendum?
Motion.
Second?
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling?
All right,
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
can I get a motion to approve facility requests?
Motion?
Second.
Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
13 action items. Can I get a motion to approve resolution declaring surplus property?
Motion.
Second?
Mrs. Meeks, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Can I get a motion and a second to go into closed session to discuss security procedures 5 ILCS 120-2 C8?
Motion?
Second.
Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Meeks, aye.
All right. You need- It's done. You good or you want for a second?
If I could take a 5-minute break.
5 minutes.